Hi, it's Anne. Thanks for stopping by. So we're going to be finishing up our vintage office journal today, and I've enjoyed it so much. You've watched me do quite a few elements to put into this piece. We're going to be taking a little bit of a closer look at it today as we finish it up. Now, as you know, I'm a big believer in writing in journals. They are places to capture our thoughts and our memories and our observations on life. And so I want to leave plenty of room for writing in this journal. Certainly the cards and the tags that we have put in here are spaces to do that writing as well. But I also have a lot of blank pages just for writing. But I like to have a little bit of decoration. You know, I'm not opposed to a blank page, but it's nice when there's a little bit of decoration that ties the whole thing together. For example, this is a spread. There's a little bit of decoration there, and this is blank. That's okay, but it's nice to have a bit of embellishment there. But here's the thing. I don't really like big gator mouse, and this is just a file folder stitched into one signature stitched into that one fold. So because it doesn't have a thicker spine, I don't want this journal to be getting a lot thicker. It's, the closure keeps it secure with the thickness that it has right now, but I don't want to be adding a lot of extra bulk to this journal. I just don't think it's appropriate, and it's not handy to have on your bookshelf. So how are we going to decorate some of these empty pages while keeping things nice and flat and not adding bulk? Well, worry not, because I have for you today 6 ways that we can finish a journal and embellish those blank pages, adding to the flavor of the whole journal. Without adding bulk. So let's just get started. The first way, and I use this all the time, is our old friend, the stencil. And I went through my stencil. You probably have a lot of these inexpensive stencils, that we can just sort of collect those. And you can make your own as well by, making punches in cardstock. But I went through my stencils looking for shapes and motifs that would sort of fit this vintage office motif. And you've seen in earlier videos this that could be brickwork, or it could be like an urban street. I'm going to continue with some stenciling throughout. This is one that kind of looks like it's herringbone, like it could be a suit. I put a little bit of other herringbone stencil here. So it's kind of nice to have corners or opposite pages coordinating somewhat. I don't get too meticulous about that, but it's kind of nice to have that. So why don't we come in with another herringbone stencil and sort of repeat this motif here. And this is just how quick this is. It's a super quick way to get some decoration on a journal page. And you can journal right over that if you like, but it's subtle, but it takes up no extra space. Let's look for another blank spread where we can just add a little bit of stenciling. Got some letters there and some numbers. Maybe I'll do this. That would be nice on this ledger page. And I'm not going to worry about precision. Where am I in frame here? There we go. Again, very faint. Just going to do this in 2 corners. And we can call this done. This is a great way to really quickly finish your journal too. If you've got that gift that you're about to give and you just want to add, give each page a little bit of intention. You have all of this space for writing, but there's a little bit of mood that you've set there. So stenciling, just go through those stencils. You probably have something that's going to fit whatever sort of theme, or just something, eclectic and suitable for all journals in your stencil collection. If you have any kind of, oh man, I need to put this one through a soak, don't I? Anything with polka dots, those tend to work really, really nicely too. So I'll set the stencils aside, and absolutely no bulk added there, but adds a lot of pizzazz. Our next option is very similar, and that is using stamps. I went through my stamps and I have a couple that have sort of a businessy sort of theme. And of course my library stamp here. So let's find a place to just sort of do some stamping in the corners. Oh, look at this tag that I made. This was from a photo from that old Young Moderns etiquette book, and this was a young woman who was taking a business trip on the train, and she's there very seriously working on her paperwork in the dining car. But I thought that made a cute little tag. We're going to come back to this spread in just a little bit. I didn't get that put back down there. What shall we? Let's do a little stamping. Maybe not here. Might come back for some other sort. How about here? This might be a good place to do some stamping. I don't want it, this is not a terribly thick paper, so I don't want anything really heavy. But let me do a little bit of stamping with, this is something that looks like it's tracking financial trends. I think that's the right way to have that. And I don't want to take up too much room there. But I want to just have something sort of numerical there on the side. I've got text over here with, on the opposing page, with that old typing manual. Just something as simple as that is fast and easy for decorating the side of that page. You can journal right over it if you wish to, but it adds something there, doesn't it? And it looks nice across from here. Here is another thing that, before I get started, I do want to use my library stamp. Let's look at how we can use this. This is just a bunch of letters. You know, you can slide it so it can have dates and such. I don't have any magical numbers that I'm putting in. I'm just going to kind of dial them in at random. Hope that I don't accidentally put some sort of real creepy number like on that TV show Lost. Remember Lost had those scary numbers? That's not going to happen. Why don't I do it on this page? I don't know. Why don't I? Let's come in and put this little barrier page here in case I go off the page, and I'm just going to stamp a little bit along this edge. No skill needed, no planning, and because we're doing sort of opposites, I'll do this edge as well. There we go. That's a fun place to journal about some of your old office memories from days gone by. Here's another idea that maybe that I don't think works well for this vintage office journal, but it's a technique that you can use using stamps with absolutely no bulk, with a different kinds of a shaped stamp. And I brought in a sample here. I used a heart stamp, and I just stamped along the edge, just like I did with this one. But then I fussy cut around the edge of that heart. And because it was fairly symmetrical, after I did the fussy cutting, I went in on the other side and I added some more hearts and just fit them into those cut spaces. You could do this with flowers, with stars, with circles. It'd be just great with interlocking circles. And that would make a really nice embellishment to really finish off a page. Again, perfectly flat, no extra bulk at all. Okay, where is my list that I have over here? We've talked about stencils. We've talked about stamps. Let's talk a little bit about drawing or painting. This is a technique, again, that I don't think is really right for an office journal because it's not hand painting or hand drawing, doesn't really fit the vibe of this. But here's just a little something that I could put into a garden journal or just anything with any kind of a botanical theme. And look how easy this is. I just did this with watercolor, and I didn't even use a real watercolor. I just used one of my colored ink stamps and put a brush into it and drew this. If you think you can't draw, don't worry. I can't either. And, you know, you can do this. It's not going to be fine art, but it's going to be a really nice little embellishment for the side of a page, finish off the look, and perfectly flat. Drawing or painting is really good. Here's the next one that I haven't tried a whole lot before doing this. Now, where is my, and it's tissue paper. You could also use napkin too, but I went through my napkins. I didn't have any napkins that would fit a vintage office sort of theme. This page might be good for this one. But I looked at my tissue paper, and I had this. I don't remember. Came in a gift or something. I don't know. It's been in my tissue paper bin for some time. But it kind of looked like a tie. Doesn't it kind of look like a silk tie? It could be a nice, you know, blouse or something for the office as well. But it sort of had that look of a necktie to me. So I thought, let's just try this. Let's tear off a little strip of this tissue paper. And it will add some thickness, but it's going to be so minimal that you're not even going to worry about it. I kind of like that. I've got in this little card that I have in this pocket, there's a little bit of maroon there. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get this little piece of tissue paper in there. And I think that glue stick works very, very well for tissue paper. Also for napkins, if you're doing something botanically themed or maybe celebratory, using a birthday napkin or something like that, I think your glue stick is going to work nicely for you. There's some instances where I get out the Mod Podge and the messier mixed media adhesives, but I've just had very good luck with the humble glue stick. And don't worry if your tissue paper tears or your napkin tears just a little bit, because you can scrunch it back together. And speaking of scrunching, I do want there to be, maybe a little bit of wrinkling in here, like a tie or the sleeve of a blouse would have. So I'm going to try to get that up close to the edge of my page. It's a little folded over there. I'm not worried about that. And then I'm just going to press down with my fingers where it lays. And there is a little bit of texture there, but it is not bulky, friends. It is not bulky at all. So if you had out some sort of a, really high-powered precision measuring device to measure the thickness of this page, there would be a little bit, but not very much. Not very much at all. That looks cute. That looks cute, doesn't it? And I kind of like that spread. Maybe I'll add a little bit to this pocket just to kind of bring out that side. Maybe I'll, just to reflect that a little bit. And that it doesn't need to be precise in its edging. Tissue paper is such a wonderful thing to have in your stash. And, the thing is, we tend to come by it, it's rather easily. I wouldn't go out and purchase a whole lot. I bet your friends and neighbors might have stashes of tissue paper. Now see that square isn't good. I really want this just to be kind of a scrap down here. might be a place where I could put a little word or something there. But yeah, I like that carried over. Might work on that a little bit more in the positioning, you know, maybe adding just a, you know, maybe just a touch up there. Oh, what the heck. I've got this little scrap right here. Why don't I put that up there and see if that adds a little balance. I know I'm off camera doing my gluing here, but I'm just using the glue stick. How about right here? There we go. There's plenty of room for journaling here. There we go. And it does, you know, that kind of has a look of a tie, but again, nice and flat, finishes off the look. And, you know, this is something we can have fun. Another thing that, again, technically there's a teeny tiny bit of thickness added to it, but hardly any, is tape. And I'm talking washi tape or adhesive tape. This might be a nice spread for this. I have a page out of a typewriting manual here, and here is another page out of that same manual. So why don't I say, why don't I? Like I'm expecting somebody to argue with me, or I'm needing to justify. Anyway, it's a habit. I'm going to take a piece of cellophane tape, and I'm going to do my little DIY washi thing. And if you have watched me for any length of time, you know this is a technique I use all the time. It works really great with older books. But I'm going to, oh, look, there's Portland. It's a list of, in this typing manual, of all kinds of different cities. But I see Portland there. I didn't even notice that before I took this out of the manual. Well, here we are in our beloved Portland, Oregon. I'm certainly going to pick that up. And put my Scotch tape. This is a matte Scotch tape, so it's not going to add any shine. There we go. And the only thickness here is going to be the thickness of this cellophane tape, which, you know, it's not non-existent, but it's not a big bulky addition. All right. There we go. And there's our little faux washi tape. Love using this technique. I use it all the time. I'm going to come back in with my glue stick and just glue that. And this was the little bit of tape that sticking out over the edge. There we go. The names of all these fine cities. Let's put Portland at the top here. How about that? And right along the edge. Oh, I like that. I like that right across from this. And this is a fun thing to do in finishing a journal because, you know, you've stitched your pages in. You know how they're going to be assembled, and it's easy to get those get that inspiration. Now, where's the one we just did? How did I lose that already? There we go. There it is. Maybe we need something along the bottom. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go back to our little piece here. And I'm just gonna, these are all typing drills. There's one about punctuation. I didn't pull off a very long piece of Scotch tape this time, so I'm going to be careful and leave myself just a tiny little grab. If you're using this technique, do check your your page, because some pages, if they have old pages, well, old pages and new pages, there's book pages of all eras that sometimes have a little bit of coating on the page, and that somehow makes for not a really good lift if you're doing this faux washi technique with your cellophane tape, your Scotch tape. There we go. Yeah, that looks better with that text balanced out at the bottom of the page. Love this spread. Love it, love it. Now I could come in and add a little stenciling if I wanted to too, but I really do want to be finishing this. So that was our tape. The other thing, and this is not exactly bulk free, but it is bulk light. And that is, I'm going to go back to my page with our little train traveler. And that is adding a single thickness of paper as an edge embellishment, so not a tuck spot that's going to add more bulk by you putting something inside, but something that is just an embellishment, but is only a single thickness of paper. There's so many wonderful edge strips that that we do that are collages with layered paper, and those are beautiful. But in this case, my objective is to not add any bulk. So I'm going to come in just with this one piece. This is the tear out edge of another typing manual, but I did some stamping on that margin, and let's just ink that up. I wanted to preserve that beautiful torn edge out of that spiral. And just a single thickness of paper. It will add the thickness of that paper, so it's not as bulk free as some of our other finishing techniques, but it's pretty close. It's not going to be adding a whole lot. So we're still going to be leaving a lot of journaling space on this page, but we are going to be finishing it off visually. Again, keeping a lot of those neutrals. I wanted this to be a mostly neutral journal. And that finishes off that spread, I think, really nicely. Where, especially with this gal here, she's just very intent and very businesslike as she's sitting there in her train car, and she has things like this on her mind. Getting back, yeah, so that's our six methods: the stencils, the stamps, the drawing and painting, the tissue, the tape, and the signal thickness edge embellishment. I forgot to show you the center of this. This goes back to the stamping. And in the center signature, I did add some color because I ran across these stamps of these little mason jars with the flowers that can go in them, and you just color them in with colored pencil. That's what I did here. But amid all of this neutralness, I wanted there to be a few pops of color. We have a few pops of color throughout, and just sort of indicating that everything was not all brown and gray and neutral. But we're likely to be having flowers on our desk, even if we had to bring on our own flowers from home. So I thought those had a place in the Vintage Office Journal. I might go through and add a few more of some of these techniques. But I'm going to call this journal pretty much close to finished. And, in today's, we did, look how many pages we finished, but we did not add any extra bulk. It's still going to fit really, really nicely in this little folded, this little cut down file folder. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Vintage Office Journal, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye.